James here from goodguitarist.com, and in today's lesson I'm going to show you how to play Believer by Imagine Dragons. And in this video we're going to learn how to play that melody from the verse, and we're going to learn how to play the chords using bar chords. But if this is too much for you, I'm also going to make another version of this where we just do it with a capo and 3 super simple chords. So a super easy version of this is coming. Otherwise, we're going to get started on this one with that melody. It goes like this. And that's really simple. You can think of it as just 3 shapes. The first shape is on the D string, the 8th fret, and I play that with my ring finger, and then I play the 6th fret of the G string with my first finger. So it's these 2 notes. And you gotta make sure to curl your ring finger enough so it doesn't cover up the next string, because if it's too floppy, it'll just mute that string and nothing's gonna work. So you gotta curve that finger. Make sure your thumb is straight on the back of the neck. You can put it a little bit lower than usual to allow you to curve your fingers more. So that's our first shape. And we just go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's all we do, back and forth between the 2 notes. You can go down, up, or you could do it all downstrokes, down. Totally up to you, as long as you count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 times. That's all you got to do. And you have to do it with a swing feel. It's not straight. It's not 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It has like a triplet sort of feel. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then from there we go to this shape. And when I switch, I'm just thinking about where my first finger is, and I think I got to put my 3rd finger or my pinky in that same spot. And our other note is the 4th fret of the D string. Same thing though, it's just going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, but we only count to 4 once. Then we do a shape that's exactly like our first shape, but just 1 fret lower. So our first shape was here, 8 and 6. Now we're on 7 and 5. But this whole lick takes place on the same 2 strings, on the D and G strings. So it's really easy to figure out, the whole thing. Anyways, on this last one, on the 7th fret of the D string, 5th fret of the G string, remember to lower your thumb a bit, curl those fingers. We just count to 4 once. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's it. That's the whole thing. So really slowly, recap. 8 and 6. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we got to switch, so we remember where's our first finger. We put our 3rd finger there instead. We get to this next shape, 4 and 6, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we crisscross our fingers and go up 1 fret, 7 and 5, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's it. That's the main riff. They play it throughout the tune, but if you're just playing this song on your own, I recommend doing that for the verse, because that's the quiet part, the verse. And then during the chorus, that's when I would bust out the chords. But before we get into the chords, let's just play this a few times through just to practice it nice and slow. You can follow along with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 again. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1. Couple more Now it's time to take a look at the chords, and for this one, it's all bar chords. I am gonna make an easy version of this, which I'll release soon, which will have 3 easier chords. So if bar chords aren't your thing, no worries. But if you're looking into getting into bar chords, I have a bar chord course coming out any day now. It could even already be out by the time I finish editing this. I've been working really hard on it, and it goes over preparing you for bar chords, doing some other things to kind of get your hand ready, building up the strength till we get into bar chords, and then I show you all this stuff that you can do with bar chords. So it's a really complete bar chord method that hopefully is out by the time I finish editing this. We'll see. You can find a link to that down below. Otherwise, the first chord we need is a B flat minor chord. And this chord, the easiest way to think about it is to play A minor with these 3 fingers. So I'm saving my first finger, then I just drag it up 1 fret, and then I can lay down the bar on the first fret. And you can cover up all 6 strings, or just 5 and have the tip of your finger touch that low string. And that's the B minor chord. Then it's cool because we're gonna use the same shape. Our fingers are gonna stay in the same shape. They're gonna move diagonally over this way. So from B minor, I moved it up and then to the side by 1. This is F sharp. And it's using the exact same shape. And then the last chord is F, so I just go to the left by 1. So all 3 of these chords use the exact same shape. My finger's making the same shape, but I just move it to different places and I get different chords. That's kind of cool. That's one of the really cool things about bar chords. So I have my B flat minor chord, which is like the A minor just dragged up 1 fret. Then I have F sharp, which is like the E chord, but going up 2 frets. And then just beside that one, F. Now let's quickly practice playing these chords downstrokes only, just to work on moving that shape. We're gonna start off on B flat minor, and here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I don't want to go for too long just in case that starts kind of hurting your hand. But it is a good idea to build up endurance that way, not really worrying about the strumming and just holding down the shape. And what's cool about this song is you're only going to have to do the bar chords during the chorus. So you are going to get a really big break while you go back to this part. And that'll kind of, let your hand come back to life a little bit, especially if bar chords are new to you and they're kind of physically demanding still. Because like I go over in my course, bar chords aren't about strength as much as they are about technique. If you grab them properly, you're going to be requiring like 10% as much strength. There's the brute force way where you're just squeezing it, but then there's the smart way where you're using way less energy to get the exact same results. Either way, once you do have some amount of grasp over those chords, we can take a look at a strumming pattern, and this one's pretty straightforward. It goes like this. That's just root, down, up, and root is just like the low notes of the chord. I'm just kind of chomping on the low end of the chord. It doesn't matter what chord, you just aim for the lowest part of it, the thicker strings. So it's like root, down, miss, up, down, up. Anyways, if you're having trouble with this one, break it up into 2 parts. There's root, down, and then miss, up, down, up. So we miss the strings and go up, down, up. And just one more thing, this is kind of a rhythmic thing that'll make it sound a bit more like the original recording, is when you first go into the chorus, when you come just from this part. So that's just root, down, and then I mute the strings right after to make a little bit of silence. And then I go back into my strumming pattern one more time and just proceed. So it just replaces the first measure of the entire chorus, and it just makes it sound a bit more rhythmic and more like the original recording. I'll try to do it in context now, a little bit slower, so you can see what I mean. 4, now that we have the chords and a strumming pattern, let's practice putting them together nice and slow. Starting off on B flat minor. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and... So that's the majority of the song. There's just like 2 seconds of it that's different. So let's just take a look at that part. It happens about 2 minutes and 40 seconds into the song, into the YouTube video at least. It goes like this. And then it would go back into the chorus from there. We start off on F sharp. And we do our strumming pattern twice. Then we go up 2 frets to G sharp. So my first finger's on the 4th fret. And we do the strumming pattern 1 time on that. Then we have a couple options here. There's the actual way, which uses an A diminished chord. So there I'm playing the 5th fret of the low string with my middle finger. It's muting the A string, just the fat underneath my finger is just muting the A string. Then I have my first finger flattened across these 3 strings, the D, G, and B strings at the 4th fret, and my ring finger is playing the 5th fret of the G string. And it kind of makes like, it looks like a D shape. You know, it looks like your D chord, but just over here. And we play it with just 2 fingers because our middle finger is over here. So 5th fret, muted, 4th, 5th, 4th, and then the top string is muted. And if that's like a bit too much for you, if you're still kind of working on the bar chords, you could just substitute it for an F chord. So instead of A diminished, you could use an F. And it has the same tonality. It'll accomplish the same thing. It's just a little bit different. It's not exactly what they're doing on the recording, but it sounds totally fine and you might not even notice it. You know, the listeners, the people that you're playing it for, probably won't notice that you're using F instead of A diminished. Either way, let's just play through it. I'll do it 1 time with the diminished chord and then 1 time the slightly easier way. Here we go, starting on F sharp. 1, 2, 3, 4. It goes into the chorus. The other way, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. So that part happens right before the last chorus. If you watch the video or if you listen to the song, you'll know exactly where it goes. It's the only part where it's different, right? Otherwise, it's exactly the same thing the whole time. And yeah, I would use the melody for all the verses for the quiet parts. Once again, you got to listen to the song. You know, that's the one thing that when I was first learning, I was wondering how my friends could play through entire songs and remember every single bit. And it wasn't until one of my friends asked me, like, how much do you listen to these songs? You know, because I would just listen to them a couple times, think, well, this is a super cool song, I want to learn it. But then I realized you have to actually listen to the songs like 50 times, literally. You listen to something 50 times, you'll know every single note. You know, whether or not you actually can play it on guitar, that's a separate thing. But you have to get the song like in your brain, in your heart. You have to just get it inside of you first, and then you can let it out, right? But if you don't listen to it enough, you're gonna have a really hard time putting anything together. So it's a really easy way to practice too. Listening to music is super fun. So I recommend doing that if you're having trouble figuring out how this all goes together. But basically, you play this a bunch of times, you know, during the quiet parts. And then when the song picks up and it's like, rain, break me up, you know, you strum the chords. And then after that part, it's quiet again. And you'll hear that if you listen to the recording. So try your best with that. If you need any help, I have a ton of resources, free ebooks, bar chord course, all this stuff. So check that out if you need any extra help. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.